Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. Here we go again. Another morning of headlines, news, and stories, and questions and answers for you, for me, for all of us that tune in these mornings. As you know, we get together to take a look at what's going on in our city, in our state, in our country, what's going on in your lives, what's going on all around us so that we can put all this information to good use and have a better life connecting with each other and with our city, Puerto Vallarta. Today is December 20th. It is Tuesday. We're getting close to Christmas. We are in the middle of Hanukkah. So whatever it is that you celebrate, I hope you are in good health. I hope you are surrounded by all the people and things that you need to be comfortable and happy. And I thank you for joining us for this little bit. If you are watching live for the first time, feel free to let us know. And you can do that by writing the word new in your comment. And I can assure you we'll give you a nice little welcome. And if there's something really if there's something on your mind that you really want to bring up, that you want everybody to pay attention to, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment, and that way we'll be looking for it in the second half of the broadcast. Today we have a little bit of everything from COVID to highways and whatnot, so we might as well get started with our news, and we will take it from there. Well, when it comes to COVID-19, it's better to be safe than sorry, says Puerto Vallarta. To that effect, our city has set up a free COVID-19 testing site. They started yesterday, and it will be remaining open during the holiday season. It'll be open during the holiday season. This site is at the health center on Jesus Langarica Street in Colonia 5 de Diciembre. This is right behind the Hidalgo Plaza. And as a reminder, if you come into contact with someone that has had COVID, or if you are presenting the usual symptoms, it helps to wait some 3 or 4 days after having had contact with that person to go ahead and get tested. And the article has specific information and a telephone number as to where you can call, where you can go to make your appointment. And of course, Puerto Vallarta isn't the only city that is playing it safe. The metropolitan area of Guadalajara has started to register some increases in COVID-19 cases. Nothing too serious yet, but they are trying to be safe rather than sorry. So Guadalajara has also installed free COVID-19 testing modules at the main plazas in Guadalajara, Zapopan, Tlaquepaque, and Tonala. Remember the fast highway from Guadalajara? It was supposed to be ready this month, but of course it isn't. And why would it be? It was supposed to be ready in 2017, so what's an extra year or two of delays. The latest, according to Jorge Nuño Lara, who oversees the Federal Secretary of Infrastructure, Communications, and Transportation, is that the stretch between Compostela and Las Varas will be concluded in early 2024. 24, not 23, 24. And that the stretch from Las Varas to Puerto Vallarta, which would be the final stretch to complete, well, they're still maneuvering through land permits and such, so I would say do not hold your breath. I've heard grumblings from snowbirds that things are more expensive than before. And I've heard grumblings from everyone that things are more expensive than before. And indeed, inflation is real in Mexico just as it is anywhere else. And the latest news to threaten our budgets is that bread, cigarettes, and beer are expected to go up in the month of January. This bit of news was spearheaded by an announcement that came from Bimbo, Mexico's very popular multinational company that sells baked goods. So if you are around shopping or if you are at a bar ordering a basic beer, well, basic beers don't cost what they used to. So get used to it, budget properly, and there you go. And speaking of Budget Canadian Airlines Swoop, I love that name, has announced more flights to Mexico and the Caribbean from Hamilton, Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Abbotsford. Did I say that right? I hope so. Starting in January. So if you are in any of these cities and are considering a trip down to Puerto Vallarta, you may want to look into this, as airlines frequently offer special discounts when they launch new routes. More about budgets, but this time the one that was granted to Puerto Vallarta's Department of Culture. Culture gets 40 million pesos to operate during this coming year, a budget that will hopefully increase the cultural offerings available here in the city. We don't know exactly what this money is going to be used for, but we can only hope that it will be put to good cultural use. Last but not least, in the news section, the North American Leaders Summit is set to take place in Mexico City from January 9 to January 11, bringing together U.S. President Joe Biden, Canadian Prime Minister and future ex-husband Justin Trudeau, and Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. We expect that Foreign Chancellor Marcelo Ebrard will reveal a detailed agenda of the topics to be discussed by the three leaders sometime in the near future. And that's what we had for formal news. Let us take a quick look at the weather and then switch over to more casual stuff. Here, Meatbag, it's partly cloudy, says Carrot Weather. Well, it is chilly out there. It's 25 degrees and I'm calling it chilly. Well, it is cold. What can I tell you? Humidity is lower than yesterday at 52%, and our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 77. Our weather forecast for today says it's going to be partly cloudy through the day with a high of 29 and a low of 19. Everybody's ex-husband, says Amiga Luisa. I love it. Tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly cloudy through the day with a high of 28 and a low of 18. And on Thursday, we can expect a clear day with a high of 29 and a low of 17. Yes, everybody's ex-husband, but I saw Trudeau first, so there. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Oh, yes, this was kind of cute because it's information we already know, but still, Vallarta Opina published a fluff piece on farmers markets and how they are thriving throughout Bahía de Banderas. The article reminds us of how the practice in Mexico of farmers market, or their equivalent, goes back to Aztec times. In fact, the word that we use in Spanish to call the outdoor markets that happen in Mexico, tianguis, the word comes from the Nahuatl, which means market. And of course, in the United States, the first farmers market took place in 1634 in Boston, Massachusetts. The article also offers a rundown of the different farmers markets that meet throughout the Bay on a regular basis with schedules for some of them. We know that here in Puerto Vallarta, we have the farmers market on Plaza Lázaro Cárdenas that meets on Saturdays. We have Three Hens and a Rooster that also meets on Saturdays, but on Isla Rio Cuale, we have the Saturday Farmers Market or Tianguis that meets in El Libramiento. We have the occasional Arts and Crafts Market that is put together by our friends in Hecho a Mano. And I think, and of course, there's the market that takes place in Marina Vallarta on Thursday afternoons. There are other markets beyond Puerto Vallarta, but these are the main ones. Oh, and for the very, very, very adventurous, there's the Tianguis in Mojoneras on Sunday mornings, early in the morning, where you can find everything and anything. I don't know this from firsthand experience, but that's what my friends have told me. And the last bit of news that made me laugh out loud and roll my eyes ever so slightly is this. This came from Tribuna de la Bahía, and I tell you, you're damned if you do or you're damned if you don't. The actual headline for the article says, you cannot feel the Christmas spirit in Puerto Vallarta this year. And then the article goes to say how there are barely any ornaments out through the city, with the exception of what has been installed on the Malecon. And I tell you, I see headlines like this, and it just makes me laugh, because when there are no ornaments, it's because there are no ornaments. And if the city goes out and puts the ornaments that they have, then the news outlets are bound to say, well, these are the same ornaments as last year, and they're just as cheap and whatnot. And I tell you, for myself, I'd rather know that I live in a city where the government is being budget conscious and I can live without the ornaments. Then, of course, I'm looking at this as a local, not as a tourist. I'm sure that visitors are expecting to see a city full of merriment and joy and Christmas and so forth and so on. But that's basically it. The article just made me roll my eyes ever so slightly. And now let's take a look at what you guys are up to this chilly December morning. I see good mornings from David up in Boston, from Sue in Fluvial. Pat says, just bought my ticket to see Amy Armstrong on New Year's Eve. Anyone else going? Would love to meet you there. You know, Pat, I have been tempted to go to that show. It's the weed show, and knowing Amy, she's probably going to get really, really funny about her anecdotes dealing with cancer recovery and weed. But I'll be honest with you, the thought of venturing into Emiliano Zapata on Christmas Eve, ay Dios mío, it's just not in my spirit. I mean New Year's Eve. Did I say Christmas Eve? I meant New Year's Eve. But I'm sure you're going to have a great time. And if I hear of anybody that is going, I'm going to tell them, look for the really wonderful lady with a rat tattooed onto her chest. There you go. Let's see what else we have. More good mornings. Gary! Gary is in Querétaro. Gary, are you on your way to Tlalpujahua or on your way back? I want details. I hope you have a good time as you explore little-known places in Mexico. And of course, Querétaro is not a little-known place. I hear it's a very beautiful city. I've never had the pleasure of spending any time there other than just driving through it. Let's see. Thank you, Doug. This goes for everyone, I'm sure. Wishing you a wonderful week. I love it. Daniel, our favorite mate consumer is headed back to Puerto Vallarta. Daniel Deben. I'll be there in 11 days. Thank you. You look great, Paco. Well, thank you. Mr. Mate from Uruguay. I love it. I'll never forget the first time that Daniel came onto Coffee and Headlines. He was like, I'm coming to Puerto Vallarta. Where can I find mate? And of course, mate is this very traditional tea consumed, as I understand it, in Argentina, but clearly in other countries as well. Let's see. Lots of cold reports. Spencer's going skiing today. Good for you. I love it. I love it. David comments on delayed infrastructure. That is normal here in Massachusetts. Well, this highway, David, this highway from Guadalajara. I mean, we've been chiming it since when? Thank you for that, Lorraine. Whenever I meet words that have a lot of syllables, I get a little nervous. Abbotsford. Wow. Love it. Let's see what else we have. Oh, Dios mío. Minus 32 with wind chill of minus 44 in Edmonton, my hometown today. That's crochet weather for me. And I've been having so much fun crocheting this winter because it feels like it's a little cooler than usual. I don't know why. Vian Cafe in Emiliano Zapata has lots of Christmas decorations, including life-size candlesticks who are supposed to be singing. We sent our daughter a picture as they were so wonderful. Mark, you asked this yesterday and I answered your comment. Let's put it up on the screen because I don't know exactly what this is. What is the participation rating that I get every week? Is that just a Facebook thing? Well, all I can tell you, Mark, is that if it's a Facebook thing, maybe Facebook can shed an answer. I'm not familiar with that issue. So unfortunately, I cannot tell you what it is. But as long as you're here and as long as we have a little bit of extra time, let us do what we can all do whenever we have access to the internet, which is go searching for Facebook. What is it that you call it? Participation. Wait. It helps if I put my fingers in the proper place. Book participation rating. Wow. I have no idea. I try to do a search on Google and I don't see anything specific to that effect. So unfortunately, I cannot answer your question. Clearly, Google doesn't seem to be able to answer your question. So my suggestion is that you reach out to Facebook themselves to find out exactly what this is about. And Paula is probably right. Facebook likes us to feel good and keep engaging. I don't know about feel good, but Facebook definitely wants us to keep engaging. Otherwise, the company might go south. In any event, this is what we had for today. That went by really quickly. I hope you have a good Tuesday, and I hope you will continue to enjoy this chilly weather, whether you are here in Puerto Vallarta or elsewhere. We will be back tomorrow with more headlines, more stories, and more ways to connect with one another. So, have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you again soon.